This is NBC.
Winning the game is difficult. In fact, it's downright hard. But the thing that really puzzles me is how you shuffle those cards on Card Sharks. And here's the host of Card Sharks, Jim Perry.
Thank you, Jan. Thank you very much. Welcome to Card Sharks. Happy to have you here with us in the studio. Thank you for joining us at home. Well, thank you. Well, that poem, that's not the only person. We thank Rosalie Strange of Liberal, Kansas, watching us KAMR-TV, Channel 4, for the opening poem. A lot of people have asked us about that. I've been mentioning for the last couple of days that because people have asked us over the last couple of years how we shuffle those giant cards, we decided to take a few seconds here to show you how we're able to handle those monstrous decks of cards. First, I'd like you to meet the fellow who actually does the shuffling. He's our head prop man standing over there. Please welcome, would you, Mr. Michael Holt. Well, now you know how he got the job, all right? Actually, there's so much curiosity about the cards that we turned our cameras on Mike this morning while he was doing his thing. So here in the studio, watch the monitors. You'll see exactly how it's done. Okay? Now, there's Mike. He's already counted the deck. He and the NBC watchdogs have to check every deck to make sure it's complete and contains 52 different cards. And then he works this specially designed shuffling table that enables him to mix the deck at random. He does this for about a minute, and it's always under the scrutiny of the NBC compliance and practices people. Then the deck, incidentally, weighs about 25 pounds. You can see he's going to give it a cut right there when he's all done, after shuffling for about a minute. Deck weighs 25 pounds. They measure 2 feet by 1 feet, or by 1 foot, I should say. Now, then the deck is sealed, and it is signed by the CMP person. It's dated and locked up until we go on the air. And when we're ready to play, the seal is broken, and the cards are cut in front of our studio audience. And that's exactly how we do it. And for those of you who wanted to know, you got it. Okay? Now we're going to open up the board and get to a deck of those cards we were talking about. Go ahead. Janice and Lois, if you will, start loading in the cards, and we'll meet our card sharks. Here comes Irene Snyder, our champion. Hi, Irene. Good to see you again.
Good to be here, Jim.
Did you know how we did that all this time?
No, I had wondered, too. I was one of those who had been wondering whether you shuffled them and how you did it.
Yeah, then you came out
I
here.
I pictured somebody with an enormous big hand standing there going crunch like that.
Well, see, you were right. He's got these
but you only
strange
had one
hands.
hand. You can't shuffle cards with one hand.
Tell us again about Irene Snyder.
Well, my name is Irene Snyder, and I come out here from Michigan specifically to be on your show. And my one claim to fame is that I can recite the alphabet backwards, and I think that's quite an accomplishment.
You can recite the alphabet backwards?
Backwards, yes, sir.
All right. We'll put you on the spot. Go ahead and do it.
ZYXWV, UTS, RQP, OLM, NOP, IHG, FED, CBA.
You got the M in the end mixed, I think, Irene, but not bad. I couldn't do it at all. I'll tell you one thing Irene does very well. We talked about cracking open the deck of cards and then cutting them. Irene gives them a pretty good cut, then plays them well. One crack of the money, she's won $4,150 in cash. Good champion. Our challenger is Cynthia Shelton. Hi, Cynthia.
Hello.
Nice to see you again.
Hi.
And again, a little reminder about you.
My name is Cynthia Shelton, and I'm a teacher at Curtis Junior High in Carson. And I live in Long Beach, and I'm presently enrolled in Long Beach State College. I got that all messed up. And I'm studying business.
It's just like mixing up the M and the N and the alphabet.
Right. That's what did it to me.
So you are teaching and also doing some studying as well?
Yes, I'm going to school to get my master's in business administration, is what I'm trying to say.
Right.
With
and you said it so well. See, that when you got it out there. Now, you both cut the cards at the beginning of your match.
Yeah, right.
Then we will pick up where we left off. Good luck to both of you. We played the best 2 games out of 3. As we left off, Irene, the champion, won game number 1. And looking at the board, we are ready to start game number 2. Starts with a question to you, Irene. Irene, our man on the street, went to a small city in Japan where he asked 100 Japanese boys, have your parents ever left you with a babysitter? How many Japanese boys have been left with a babysitter?
I don't talk Japanese very well, and I'd have never been to Japan.
That's funny. When you were reciting the alphabet, it sounded like Japanese.
It sounded like Japanese, didn't it? Actually, it was Greek. That number is going to be about 15.
15 out of 100 Japanese boys have been left with a babysitter.
I really know nothing about the Japanese customs in terms of whether they go out, but it seems to me everybody would have to go out. I can't imagine Japanese people not leaving their children at some point with a babysitter, so I'm going to say it's higher.
You say higher. If
Yeah.
it's higher, you'll play your cards.
Absolutely.
If not, Irene plays hers. The actual number of Japanese boys who've been left with a babysitter is 0. Not 1. They don't do it, evidently. And Irene gets a first look at her cards, starting
Good one.
with a jack.
Jack. That's all right. I'll go lower.
Gonna play the jack lower. A 2.
Higher, Jim.
Higher than a 2. A king. Lower than the king. A 9.
Three.
And we move over the freeze bar, protecting that position. And right away, the champion needs 1 card for another crack at the big money.
Oh,
Cynthia,
Yes.
we asked 100 married men.
Yes.
If you could afford to have a mistress, would you want one? How many married men said if they could afford to have a mistress, they'd want one?
Married men would, I think many of them at some point, like to have an experience outside of their marriage. So, and I think it maybe afford is the key word. If they could afford it in terms of the psychology, and I'm going for not only the financial, but I would say the number is 56.
56 out of 100 married men
Yeah.
said if they could afford to have a mistress, they'd want one.
if they wanted a mistress, if a married man wanted a mistress badly enough, he'd find a rich one and she'd pay the bills, and he wouldn't have to worry about whether he could afford it, right?
Good thinking.
And many of them do. That number's going to be lower. Jim.
Lower than that.
Lower.
The actual number of married men who said if they could afford to have a mistress, they would want one is 31. You're right, Irene. It's lower. Irene, we left off with a 9.
That 9, I don't like
Winning
that
the
9.
question, you have the right to change it. Oh, another 9.
Oh, I said to change it, Jim. You didn't do it. Come on, get with it. I'll gamble lower. Lower.
If this is lower, Irene goes for the big money. It is. Irene wins the championship. Well, Cynthia, come up against a tough champion. Good luck with the studies. Thank you for joining us. Cynthia Sheldon. Irene, come on down here. Irene Snyder adds another $200, and she goes for a lot more right after this commercial break. There you go. Back with our champion, Irene Snyder. Game a good cut.
Oh, I sure did. Thin to win again.
Okay, let's get up there and play those money cards. Come on, Irene. A lot of encouragement from our audience. That's nice. It's nice to have people rooting for you, and I know everyone at home is rooting for you right now as we give you 3 cards, $200 on that level. Up to the second level, another 3 cards. You bet them as you will. Another $200. $50 minimum bets, and of course the big bet, you must risk at least half.
Right.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Here's $200. And you can change the base card on each level if you need to. Thank you, Lois. We'll start Irene with 200 and a 2.
Oh, all of it higher, Jim.
All of it, $200 that this card is higher than a 2. Yes.
That's
With
not
an 8,
good.
you're in the middle.
$50 higher.
$50 minimum bet. Higher than an 8. Oh.
Oh.
Down to $350 with a
It's your
7.
money, not mine. $50 higher. I'm still going
Well, we
higher.
hope it's going to be your money. I hope you're going to get a lot of it. $50 higher? That's higher.
All right.
So you got $400 out of that level, and another $200 as we move the 6 up. Do you want the 6? I
All
beg your
right.
pardon, the queen.
Half of it lower.
$300. Lower than a queen. Yes.
All right.
$900.
I don't like that
and a
9. Let's make that $50 lower than the 9.
$50. Lower than a 9. Right again.
Hey!
You're inching along with some bad
Another
cards, but doing very
50.
well.
I think it's about time for a high card. $50 higher.
I hope you're right. $50 higher than an 8. She's right
Hey,
again.
All right.
Well, looking at this with a 7, 2 8s, and a 9, to come out of it with $1,000 is very good. And now, most importantly, do you want the queen for the big bet?
I'm going to go half of it lower, Jim.
You're going to play the queen
Yes.
and bet half of it.
Half of it
$500 that this is lower than a queen. It is $1,500 with some not too good cards, Irene. Very nice. Very nice. You didn't get carried away. You stayed down with those big cards, with the bad cards. That was nice. And Irene Snyder with some very astute betting has $5,750 in cash. We'll be right back right after this. Good job. Hey, Irene, Janice deals out 2 brand new decks of cards, and here comes that next challenger on Card Sharks. Jackie Jacobs. Hi, Jackie. Nice to have you here. That's definitely not a fellow, Irene.
No, I don't think so. I think you're right, Jim.
Jackie, won't you tell us about you?
My name is Jackie Jacobs, and I live in San Diego, where I just got hired on as a deputy sheriff. And I hold the World Book record for roller skating across the United States, coast to coast, in 37 days.
Wow.
Really?
Yes.
Mike.
Hey, that beats saying the alphabet backwards, doesn't
Yeah, that definitely beats saying the alphabet backwards. What prompted you to decide to go after a record like that? That's hard.
Well, I think it's an adventurous thing to do, and I also did it for a charity. I helped raise $15,000, over 15, for the mentally retarded.
Oh, that's very nice.
That's the best part.
And you've got the record.
Yes, I'm in 1980 Guinness Book of World Records.
Oh, good. Jackie, you cut the cards?
Great.
Yes, I did.
Well, I'm going to skate on over here and let's start
go
the match
ahead.
here. 37 days. My goodness.
Wow.
Irene, starting with a question to you. And, Jackie, now you're, what, an assistant? What are you, a deputy sheriff or something?
I just got hired on. I haven't started yet.
Behave yourself.
All right. This might be a very interesting question for you, Jackie. But the question's going to Irene. Irene, we asked 100 police women, have you ever frisked a man? How many police women have frisked a man?
Well, if they haven't, they certainly have missed a great opportunity. However, I'm going to say that should be probably about 45.
45 out of 100 police women have frisked a man. Jackie, first of all, did they teach you any of that when you were studying?
No, they haven't. But when I get hired on, I'm going to go to the women's facility, a jail. And so I think that they put the women with the women and the men with the men. I'm going to say it's lower.
Oh, I see. Interesting. The actual number of police women who have frisked a man is 85. Not lower, it's higher.
Make it good, Jim.
I think
Make
if
it
they
good.
come upon them in the street, you can't very well say, let's get a girl to do that or a fellow. So
Make it
Irene
good.
starts
Make
off
it good.
with a queen.
Queen. That's all right. Lower, Jim.
Lower than a queen.
Lower.
No winning. Jackie gets a free chance to play a 7.
I'll try higher.
Higher than the 7, a jack.
I'll go lower.
Risking it lower, a 9.
Please.
Jackie comes out on top of that exchange. And the question goes to you, Jackie. Jackie, we asked 100 marriage counselors. Generally speaking, can a man have a happy marriage even if he puts his career before his wife and family? How many marriage counselors said a man can have a happy marriage even if he puts his career first?
If he's putting his career first, I don't think he's giving enough time to the family. I think the marriage counselors will say about 30 could.
30 out of 100 marriage counselors said yes, that's possible. Irene, what do you think?
I've known a lot of men who have made a career out of marriage. And in that case, their career is their marriage. One right after the other, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think the question was, do they think they can have a happy marriage
How
if
many
their career
marriage
is
counselors
first?
said a man can have a happy marriage even if he puts his career ahead of his family?
Certainly they can. I think it's going to be higher than that.
Higher than that. The actual number of marriage counselors who said a man can have a happy marriage even if he puts his career first is 48. He can indeed. Irene, you've got it. And Irene, you're looking at a queen.
I'm going to go lower, Jim.
Lower than the queen. A 3.
Higher.
Risking it higher. Oh, no! A good card fails the champion again and again,
I'll try
Jackie, with a
lower.
free chance. Lower than the 9. And ace is not lower. This time she couldn't take advantage of it. And we will fill in the spaces and get the question 3 in a moment after we take time out for this. Okay. Irene with a queen, looking at 4 cards as she needs. Jackie with a 9 as she's moved over, needs only 2. We pick up with question 3. Question to you, Irene, and I've got to tell you this. When we load this in, see, we're explaining how everything works today. When we load this in, there are 14 spaces here for questions because we generally use 10, 11 questions a day. So the ones down at the end, they don't get asked. They're usually the ones that our producer and the staff feel in some way the audience really wouldn't be interested in. It's just not an interesting question. This question has been sitting for 2 years at the end. It has never come up. It is the worst, dullest question we've ever asked.
Throw it away.
So we moved it out to ask it just because it's the worst, dullest question.
Thanks a lot.
Okay.
I'll
Here
do
it
something
comes.
for you someday.
Questions for you, Irene. We asked 100 dog owners the immortal question, is your dog named Spot?
Oh, as if.
Now you know why it hung down at the bottom, friends. How many dog owners, Irene, said their dog is named Spot?
Whoever wrote that question, their name is Spot. They're a dirty dog in my estimation.
Oh. Would you like us to fire them, Irene?
Please do.
She would.
You should have done it before they wrote that question.
How many dog owners said their dog's name is Spot?
14.
14. Jackie, higher or lower?
I've got to go lower. There are so many neat names you can name a dog. Why would you name it Spot? Lower.
Lower than that. What name would you pick?
I don't know.
Rover. Fido,
Rover,
that's
right.
another one. The actual number of dog owners whose dog is named Spot is 2. It's lower, but 2 of them were named Spot. Jackie, you got it up.
Take that 9.
Now she can get rid of the 9, winning the question a Jack.
I'll go lower.
Lower than a Jack. A 5.
I'll go higher.
For the first game of the match, higher. Yes! Jackie will never get mad at a question about a dog Spot now. She liked that question.
Yes.
Janice is dealing out same 2 decks of cards with the next cards off the top of the deck. And we'll start game 2 with a question to Jackie. Jackie, we found 100 women who have been divorced 3 or more times, and we asked them, was one of your husbands named Spot? No. Sorry, it wasn't no. Women who have been divorced 3 or more times, we asked them, during a tender moment, have you ever accidentally called a new husband by an ex-husband's name? How many divorced women said during a tender moment they have called a new husband by an ex-husband's name?
Well, I can only think back to my experience. I haven't been married and divorced 3 times, but I've had people that were important to me that aren't important, that I'm not involved with now. And it's so embarrassing when you do that, though. It's got to be about 78.
78, you think it happens, huh? People do that. Irene?
I have been married, I have been divorced, and I have been remarried, and in order to avoid this problem, my husband always puts adhesive tape across my mouth. So I can't do that. I'd say the number is much lower.
Lower than
Yes.
that. Well, you can have tender moments any way you like. And Jackie says 78. Irene, with the tape over her mouth, says lower. The actual number of divorced women who have called a new husband by an ex-husband's name is 39. It is lower. Irene's got it.
All right.
Pretty high number, though, 39. Irene, you've got a 4.
That's good. Higher.
Higher than a 4. A king.
Lower, Jim.
Lower than the king. A 10.
3.
And now Irene takes a 2-card advantage, and question 2 goes to you, Irene. And Irene, we asked 100 third-grade girls, would you like your dad to come along on your first date? How many third-grade girls would like Daddy to come along on the first date?
A third-grade girl have their daddy go along? Oh, wow. It depends on how macho the daddy is. I'd say that would have to be about 12.
12 would like Daddy to come along, Jackie.
Even at 3rd grade, I had a lot of fantasies, and a lot of them involved boys. But I never imagined my dad with me. I'm going to go lower.
Lower than that. The actual number of third-grade girls who would like Daddy to come along on the first date is 44. Not lower. 44. They're a little nervous about that. And Irene, you've got a 10.
Let's deep 6 that 10.
Deep 6 the 10. And the 10 becomes a 5.
Higher.
Higher than the 5. An 8.
Freeze.
And we move over the freeze bar. Irene needs just 1 card. Jackie has yet to turn over a card. We'll be right back right after this.
John thinks he's a monster truck. His girlfriend says he's a subcompact. His ex thinks he's a wreck. Susan says she's a blonde. Her best friend believes her. Her boyfriend knows better. Bill claims he's full of life. His girlfriend thinks he's full of passion. His ex says he's full of something else. All new Three's a Crowd. Find out who knows you best tonight at 9:30 Eastern, 6:30 Pacific.
On Little House, A day that begins in joy threatens to end in tragedy.
Barry, come on. There's a fire. We have to get the kids out.
No, I'll get the baby. You go ahead.
When fire destroys the school for the blind, the Engels face their greatest test of courage.
But we're gonna live on.
A special 2-hour Little House, Monday. Ponch and John race with crooks for a deadly prize.
$500,000 in gold coins.
Then Bear's about to be the victim of a ruthless doctor. Saturday.